This guy stinks!
Not being done because relegation is going on right now. So yeah, I will insert references to some of those games. Like I said, because this game's fundamentals are really tied to the fact that it is a first-person shooter game, and I'm gonna change my mouse setting here. Like I was saying, the fundamentals of the game really boil down to the fact that it's a first-person shooter and that you have heroes with different abilities, effective ranges, synergies with each other, so forth and so on. So if you look at the Chaos Theory comp we have going here, obviously we're going to be swapping to Venture, but if you look at the Chaos Theory comp that we have going here, it's pretty brawl heavy, and I would say the same of this comp here. It's going to end up being pretty brawl heavy just because, you know, you have your long-ranged character matchups, then you have just Kiri Lucio, which is just like the norm, and then you have your flanker matchups, which in this case it'll be Venture versus a Tracer. And then you can basically take a look at the map at this point and say, okay, where do each one of these characters want to play, and then where does it also like optimally play for us, so that we can complete our goal of maintaining map control and therefore point control with the objective, and then how do we synergize with each other. So if you look at this initial rollout here, it's pretty fast. But if you look at the direction that we're headed here, my idea for playing Freya is I'm going to basically control this space on the map, and then controlling this space, your vision, like I said, first-person shooter, is you have vision of everything, like this lane, you have this lane, you can see back here, you can see forward here on their side, you can, you know, kind of play here and you can see this space, you can play here and you can see this space. You can shoot all the way across to here. I think there's at one point in this map where I get one bolt shot here, but obviously it's not like super effective. But if you look, if I were to play here, like I can see this, but I can't really move around too much. I mean, I could do a little wasted cooldown and do a little hop from here back and forth, but it's like super congested, and one monkey jump up there or one hazard slash and it's over for me. Basically, I'm going to be dropping, and it's not very easy to hold this space, right? As Freya, or even as a flyer, right? If you're playing Echo, you can definitely use this spot to stage on something here, to stage here. But why not just do this, right? If you're playing Echo, you have all this vertical cover, you have all this, you can drop down here, you know, so forth and so on. So my whole idea going into this is that the Freya will play here, and maybe with a Lucio, right? Or some sort of help to maintain the space. And actually what I've seen before, going off of like I said, just like Masters Division games that I've been able to watch, the hazard will actually come up here, and the entire team may at some point stack here at the very beginning. Like, we're talking at this point in the game. Not the whole team doesn't play to stack here, right? But you just in the beginning of the game, and then your flanker will come here, or they'll kind of hang out here, because a lot of times the other teams did the exact same thing and fought over this space. This is obviously the most dominating space in the map on this point, and so that's why it's a space to fight over. So I wouldn't be opposed if Boris also just rolled out with me and came up here and catch anybody that's trying to contest this space as well. And then, you know, maybe their team doesn't, and then they're starting to do this stuff. You know, that's when he then comes back here. Or if he wins the space for free, he can do this, right? And he has a spot to jump off of. So that's just something to keep in mind. So let's kind of see how this fight plays out, right? So he does come up here eventually. So I actually think we did this right. If you look at this setup, they have 3 stacked here, they have 2 stacked here. So they're trying to do similar things that we're doing. It's just we have everybody stacked on me because we want to win this. Now we definitely won this because the enemy team is like somewhere else. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. Their Lucio just gets caught out because he's just goofing off up here. He thinks this spot's free. And then we just go from here, right? My Hazard's jumping off. Okay, you have that. My Kiri's playing with my Hazard. My Kiri TPs to my Kiri does a little reverse TP, TPs to my Venture to save her, which I think is fine because we don't want to trade right now. Unfortunately, this Tracer was set up here. If the Lucio was with the Tracer, that whole interaction doesn't happen, but the Tracer was set up here and they got a pinch in, right? It's not an end of the world play. Like, I get it. The Frey is up there. Oh boy, it's okay. There's a Venture here on my Soj. Gotta clear that guy. Yeah, if you just look at what happened to their team, even though we lost our Kiri, because we had such dominant map control in the very beginning of the game, it just was a free win, right? Because if you look at what happened, right? Our team was stacked here. We got this Lucio who just wandered into our territory. Our Benzi was here, and they had 3 people here, and they had Lucio, whatever. And even though we have a TP that happens here and our Kiri gets died because of a pinch, my tank got to shoot their tank in the back for like 15 seconds. Right? Now, if you look now at their position, look at how isolated these guys are. Like, these guys are kind of stacked, but like, this person can't really see. This person is worried, right? This person is worried about this over here. And this guy's worried about trying to get this kill. And he's chasing a kill. And look at what's happening. I've got to chase my Hazard, and this entire time this Hazard's trying to kill our Kiri, these 2 guys shoot him in the back and make him 1 HP. And this guy's like trying to hide cover because he knows I'm here. Because I hit him with a bolt earlier. And now we're wall climbing, we're taking bolt shots. This guy's low. We have pretty healthy people. And this guy's LOS'd because he would like to be like right here, but he's going to take tons of damage, right? He just had to wall climb up over here because he was taking damage. He's 1 HP. It's just free, right? So a lot of that first fight win just came down to having the control of the dominant point. And then even though we maybe trade a Kiri with a TP and Suzu, this guy really hard chases 2 people, ends up getting shot in the back by a Hazard and a Venture, and ends up here because a Kiri is here and wants to be LOS of this guy, but like the Kiri's taking damage from the dominant position on the map. And so the Kiri's trying to use cover here, and the Kiri's then rotating around here, and then it's like, I'm getting shot by bolt shots here, I'm going to climb over here. Like, it's just unfortunate. And this guy has put in no pressure this entire time because he's come down here, chased a Venture, slid back, taken some bolt shot or whatever, and he's just been kind of hanging out, right? So, now if you look at this here, this is probably a fight that we are not going to win, because if we drop to point to contest, we're gonna die to these people like 100%. So we just maintain the space. You give up the point and you maintain the space. This guy's taking damage because, again, he enters this zone, he's gonna take damage. So he's 1 HP and he's sliding in. This Hazard's gonna come up here because it's like, all right, we're gonna come up and we're gonna contest them this time, right? I'm aware that they have to come get me off this spot because, you know, the points flipped and now they're like, these 2 are kind of alone here, we think, and so this guy was in trouble for us, and now we're gonna have to go take the space. And I get a flank in on 3 people that are trying to take this space. We use our hazard wall and isolate the person that's actually, let's just look at this. The person that gets bola shot is actually isolated by a wall, which I don't know if Boris meant to do that, but it looks kind of good though, right? Because like he can't, this tracer cannot get Suzu. I mean, he dies anyway, but like still, it's just kind of funny, right? Now this guy knows he can't win this fight because he has no Kiri, he has no tracer, he has no backup. Getting shot in the back. Oh, you win this? And this is just something we have to call for, right? Is, hey, we won this fight and we want to maintain like an aggressive position here. Like, let's say that's what we want to do. That needs to be called. And then what can happen is the Freya can rotate here and then use this angle essentially to deal damage and then back out. But you have to be weary that you can use it for so long and then the team's going to walk up, and if you don't get any value from it, you have to rotate back early, because what will happen is if I'm Freya and I'm here and I wait for the tracer here, it's too late. And the reason for that is because I will have to use updraft and 1 dash to get back, and the tracer will blink, blink, blink. And then anybody else that's in relative territory knows that like updraft is what, a 12-second cooldown, so I'm basically super vulnerable. So the idea is if you're going to play this dominating space, the idea is unless you're really continually pushing advantages, you need to be able to back up at good times. If you're playing a character like this, if you're playing Hazard, you can push things a little bit more, but it all comes down to like what can your healer do? Because you don't want your support, you don't want your Kiri getting caught out here by somebody doing a pinch because they're trying to heal you. You know what I mean? So it's all about, if you're gonna take this aggressive dominating space here, it's all about making sure you do it at the right time, and also making sure that it's communicated and that you back out at the correct time. If you look at our map control, this guy could be a little closer, but I think he's walking there anyway. But this is great, right? We have this, and he's in between. Like, where does this team want to walk? If this team walks in any of these locations, they're gonna feel pressure, either from me, or Benzi, or the tank. And like, what does this look like if the entire team ends up here? Well, Boris is like maybe what, here? Benzi's still here. Like, it's just the same kind of layout stays the same as you rotate back, right? And I will show you how I think we did this really well for a team that hasn't scrimmed long, you know, isn't in champion ranks. Hey. Okay, so hey guys, the Freya and the Lucio are up there. This is just like the pure example of how well we set up this map. Is that like it is what just happened there, right? They, after 2 fights now, haven't contested this space well, and so now their Kiri's vision is on this spot. And if you looked at their tracer's vision was on this spot, and their tank was walking main, and his vision was on this. I don't know what their Soj was looking at. Their Soj is here, but their Soj is like trying to get an angle, I guess, but their Soj should really be the one that comes up here and contests me, right? But regardless, maybe he feels like the matchup isn't great for him, so that's why he's like here for some reason. I don't know. But because we have this great setup, we get this free fight winning kill because the attention is here, and Benzi just gets a free rat kill on a Kiri, right? And even if he trades here, which I don't think he will, because we just have resources, like, and they don't. Look at how one that was just on setup alone. Because like I said, Overwatch being a first-person shooter, you can only look in a field of vision of like what, this at once here, right? You can only see, I don't know, my FOV is like 120. You know, your vision is limited. And so when you spread things out on the map, Boris here, Venture here, and us two here, and your Kiri's just kind of like keeping sight of your tank. You have, not only do you have great positions where you're locking down the map and you're creating the outer bubble of security to the point itself, right? Not only that, but you just have access to so much information, right? When our tank's here, he can see anybody that's here. When I'm here, I can see anybody that's here. When my Venture's here, see anybody that's here, right? You have access. So the only guy that escaped really knowledge of us seeing him was this Soj, and he's wherever he was. He started out here, and it was just useless, right? We just won this map based on map setup, and it was very obvious, in my opinion. What's crazy is like my tank hasn't taken damage at all for so long. Like, he's just invisible for a while until right about now. Now it's like, oh, hey. And I think this is fine. I think it's one of these, if you look at my POV right now, right? I'm worried about this guy because he was just here. I'm worried about this guy contesting me. So I personally can't really help Boris right now. Benzi just if you look at Benzi just took tons of damage and got healed up. Doesn't have cooldowns. So it's like this is just unfortunately this is just an unfortunate spot where I guess you got a good trade in again, but it's just so if you look, they just flipped the point, but this is a full 5v5 fight right now. Our Kiri got to live from this position because she was TP range away from our Benzi, who just like lived here, right? And traded Pulse Bomb and something else and lived. And now they killed this guy coming back from spawn because no one's here to help this guy come back from spawn, right? And on top of that, this guy's making an aggressive play, and the Kiri had to path this way, right, to avoid a Venture who she knew was right there. And then the Kiri was like here because it's like, well, took some whatever poke damage and then ended up here or whatever. And they couldn't do enough here to get good value. So now if you look at our setup now, their entire team is compressed here and we're spread out around them again. Right? It's just like we're just controlling this space really well again. Even if it was a scuffed fight. Anyway, I don't really know that there's a whole lot to say other than that. I think we played this map very well. Once again, we've won a fight and controlled map space very well, which is crazy. Their entire team is pathing through here. And one thing I want to point out, you will see this maybe in other games, is when teams are spread out and have really good map control, like I said earlier, the pressure, even though I'm not hitting every bolt shot, right? I mean, I'm hitting shots, you see me in the kill cam, but I'm not hitting every bolt shot. But it feels super oppressive for the enemy team when it's like, last time I died, I got hit by bolt shot playing here. So then I'm like come in here and I'm like, okay, I don't want to challenge this guy because he just killed me with a bolt shot up over the top of the thing. I'm gonna walk here. Then you die to a Benzi that's on this side. Where the heck do I go? If I go here, I'm getting shot by the Freya. If I go here, I'm getting shot by the Venture, or I'm getting shot by the tank. Right? It feels oppressive, and it makes you feel the presence of the team. It makes the game feel super hard. And you're like, man, these are good players. You know what I mean? And it makes you play turtling to where your entire team takes this side of the map. And it causes a psychological turtle of their entire team to play in this corner. I want you to look at this. I want everybody to take a gander at drunk driving Grandmaster damage Soj players. Ready?
Not bad at all.
I'm Quartz, bro. Look at me. This is Master Division Faceit League. Nightmare was OWCS at some point. So these are not bad teams, right? Probably arguably some of the top teams in Masters Division. What I'd like to point out here is this is just as like 20 seconds in, right? And Rocket has made this rotation already because Razor has like just walked here. The entire team of EDM is in this section of the map. Their Cass and their Ana are here. And here's the thing. Painkiller did walk this way as well. So did Luke Mino at some point early, but they kind of switched once these guys were in place. And something to note is that look at the vision first off that these guys have, especially this Ash. Like, he's just gonna poke here. He's gonna get poked by both these people. This person, if he goes over the top, he's gonna get poked by both these people. This is just great. This is great map control already. Whereas this team's like stuck here. And they can't see a whole lot. Like Ana can shoot this brig or shoot this, but the Ana can't shoot this, right? And I think the idea of maybe stacking, helping people come win this angle, kind of stacking multiple people on this angle, is because your Anas want to get here, right? Because this is kind of the safe space to play, you know, when there's a monkey, because to jump this with monkey is expensive. So I think it's a similar concept to if I was playing Freya, right? Where you want to have your team help you take the space, and then from there they go do whatever they want to do, right? So I think similar concept in the sense that you want to set up your on. There's no mystery on where the entire enemy team is right now if you're Nightmare, because these guys can see the Ash and the you know, whatever here. They know the Ana's gonna play here at some point. They know the monkey's here because the monkey knows these, like, they see the entire. If you look at the POVs, they know where everybody on the enemy team is right now, and it's a first-person shooter. So even if you guys are, like I said before, even if you guys are communicating, a lot of, even with communication, what decision you're going to make is based off of the visual information that you have first, not necessarily the audio information that you're being given. I'm not saying you can't make audio decisions, but it's way easier to react off of things visually. And in your order of decision making, you're going to favor what you see first, right? And these guys are chilling, and these guys are still very compressed. And they're very vulnerable to this pinch here, and I'm actually surprised Rocket doesn't like try to get a little greedy here. But I think he knows, like, you know, their entire team is compressed there. I can't take too much poke. So Cardi Fan goes for a jump on the Ana and Cass stack, and Razor's about to follow. If Razor had this space and Cardi Fan made a jump here, think about how different that feels pressure-wise. This is not a mystery. And like I said, because fundamentals of first-person shooter is you can only look, in a 120-degree direction at once. Think about how much different it is in terms of pressure if Razor were to be able to, sticky this brig while Cardifan's making this jump, while PDK is shooting the cast, and Ana, or swinging this way and shooting a brig, right? It's just OP because you can't look at you can only do look at 120-degree angle at a time. So if you look, what happens here, Cardifan jumps up on the cast and the Ana. Brig sends a pack. He gets naded and probably right-clicked, so Cardifan is 1 HP. Razor did this weird thing, and he came on here and got peeled by Painkiller and is going to die to Painkiller. This guy gets slept. That guy's dead. But you see how they just completely took over the map. A Rocket had access to this. Cardifan had to back all the way up to here, which really gave up a lot of space here, and that just gave Rocket the in to pinch this guy. And now PDK is dead. Now these guys are on the heels, and this guy is about to leave as well because there's a cast shooting him here. And they've just immediately locked down the map, I think, based off having a good initial setup. Even though, this seems like a bad play for the cast, it works out because he gets peel. And now Cardifan's, has to disengage again. I just think your whole team, just at the very start of the game, ends up here, and you just get penalized for it here. So anyway, this is how I would ideally play this part of the map. Is I would put my Freya and my Lucio here. I would put my Ana here. Boris is good where he's at. Benzi's trying to get this space and zone this space. Okay, why do we do this here? It's the same thing as last one. You're spread out. I think especially Ana here because the combined pressure of Freya and Ana here and basically anywhere else. Obviously, Ana can't see this space too well, but that's okay because that's why my Venture's here. But Ana can throw nades down, but I think the big value is doing damage pressure early fight because then that gives a lot of opportunity for the combined damage to, if you even look at this guy right now, he's already half HP and nothing's happened. It's just the combined pressure to this space is great. And anywhere here and anywhere here, and basically anywhere there. If you look at our map control, it is now created a security bubble right here to the point. They could go sim and TP point, and then obviously what would happen then is you would make some rotations and just collapse on them on point, right? But for now, let's just talk about the general gist or ideas. So we're playing where our heroes want to play, which is a big deal. And then we're just zoning the map really well. So I can put pressure here. I can put pressure here. I can put pressure basically anywhere inside this circle, right? And then my Lucio's here to help me. If the team jumps up on me, my Lucio's here to help me. And then these people can shoot these people. This person can shoot this person. And these guys are going to be contesting this angle. Boris can really do anything. If we have this setup, Boris can do anything. This really actually enables Boris, no matter what tank he's on, when it comes to Brawl. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult to play any kind of tank that's permanently stuck on the ground here, so I think Hazard's a decent choice. You can Monkey. I think Monkey is what other ones play, but I don't think it really matters too much. But you can go anywhere. You can go here. You can help, make wall plays, making a play with this person. You can peel to this guy. You can peel to us if we need it. You have unlimited options, and the world is your oyster. Boris can do anything, and it's not a wrong play. You get what I'm saying? Like if Boris sees an opportunity here, if we have this setup, Boris sees an opportunity here, he can go here. I don't care, right? He can peel to the Ana if he wants to. He can help us here on the left. He can help Benzie on the right. Literally doesn't matter. He can't make necessarily a wrong choice as long as we have this setup. I guess he can make a wrong choice. He can go feed, but that's besides the point. And Benzie is going to zone this space because then he can shoot people in the back as they rotate to go get our Ana, or, you know, as they're walking through here, as they're walking through here. If Benzie wins this space, like, he just gets to shoot people in the back for free. He can rat in this, like, close area where you can get, like, combos on people. And then Benzie can rotate to anywhere, right? He can rotate to this height. If this is one, he can rotate here. He can even rotate back and help Ana if that's the need be case. And then from here, like when we end up like winning a fight, you know, you can rat and get people in this lane, and then your Boris can help you with little wall plays or, you know, whatever you want to do here. And then this really locks down the map, and I think it would make it simple again. And if you look at kind of what happens is our Ana drops off high ground, and this dropping off high ground, I'm not sure why you dropped off high ground. I don't know, maybe you felt alone, or maybe you felt like you wanted to help in this duel. But like I said, I think the real value from Ana, it comes from the damage. It might be contrary to what people say in your ranked ladder or, you know, whatever, but I honestly believe in the awkward philosophy of Ana where you're doing damage. Maybe your damage pressure is more valuable than actually your healing pressure, because any of the supports can heal, but not any of the supports can throw an anti-nade and do long range damage, especially with that headshot perk. So I think when you drop off the high ground tier, even if you're like trying to help this guy, you immediately like lose the value, because like look at what these two are doing right now. You just lost a lot of vision. Now your vision's really compressed to like this space. You can't see this tracer to react to this tracer right away. Maybe you know she's here, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'd prefer, even if you feel easier to dive, I prefer you just stay here. No one's going to flame you if you are here and you get jumped on by two people and you die. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. But if you do this and they do go for an aggressive play and you die and you make it expensive and this guy gets a kill in the process, well, then that's better. And this is where I think we actually had this conversation where it's like the team needs to understand if the Ana's bait playing here. Well, let's say we're playing against the full dive comp. If the Ana's bait, like the entire team just needs to be on board with the understanding of, hey, our Ana's bait, like we're not just gonna stand around in our positions like AFK and watch her die. The goal is she's gonna play here as long as possible, and she's gonna get jumped on. But we're going to use that opportunity of, hey, they're going to try to get a free Ana to like shoot them all in the back and create a kill box here. That's the whole thing. But then what you did here, eventually the team realizes it and you get even backed up into this corner. And I know we said, yeah, well, this is kind of what I wanted to have happen. It's like, sure, but if you do it here, this guy can't do anything right now on any of these people. I mean, eventually he'll shoot these people in the back, but you're going to die so quick. And this guy, I don't think has cooldowns right now. And I'm here and here, like, even if I don't even know why I'm down. I think I might have just like walked off like an idiot. But, there's nothing really to be done except like we hit some like crazy lucky, you know, play. So that's just a general gist. Like I said, if we're going to play an Ana here, I think you need to have two philosophies as a team with playing an Ana here. If we were going to play this in a competitive match and we wanted to play Ana on Illios, I would have a Kiri ban. That's my philosophy, and then you're forcing them basically to play Ana. I think that makes the matchups better, a little easier for especially if you're like, I'm a good Ana and they're just a Kiri one trick or whatever. But anyway, either the Ana's bait, or in a brawl, it's like we're trying to keep the Ana here to maintain this point of dominance on this map. And then if that's the case, in my opinion, I think I'd play Cass, and then I'd stack Cass, Ana, and then I'd put Boris here, and then I put Benzi and Lucio here. Anyway, so that will be my Illios, my little Illios VOD. If there's any questions or any challenges on some of the things I'm saying, or any other input that the team wants to put into this VOD, all of that is welcome and appreciated. I am not a coach. I am not expressing that I have like amazing Overwatch skills, or I think I have a decent understanding of fundamentals, but I'm not a champion DPS player or anything like that.